everybody, welcome back. Doing like another quick discussion with something that's been weighing on my mind for a little bit, but I figured today's a good day to address it, just to get off my chest, essentially. But of course, you guys can easily chime in the comments and let me know your thoughts on it. But the question I want to pitch is: are villains allowed to be villains anymore? What happened to the classic villain? Now, what I mean by that is, it's just in recent years, it's not everything, but it's like a fair amount where it's cause for not concern, but something that is kind of peaked in my mind, where this whole trope of misunderstood villains. Uh, Before I dive deep into that, please do me a favor and like this video, share this with your friends who might find this intriguing, and of course, leave a comment below. Now, recently, the Acolyte just wrapped up, and people giving their thoughts on it, and trust me, it's hot garbage. It doesn't even rank in terms of worst to best Star Wars property or project, because somehow, some way, I didn't even think it was feasible. The Acolyte is probably like even worse than Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. Hell, even Book of Boba Fett. Even though those are probably low tier, Acolyte can't even be on the chart. It was so bad. It was that awful. And from what I'm understanding, this whole concept that Leslie Headland and Kathleen Kennedy and people behind all this is trying to like make the Sith the good people, and the Jedi are the ones that have been bad. And it's just, they done it. I see what they're trying to do, but they're executing it so poorly. It's just like it will make most Star Wars fans sick to their stomach. And I can't even fathom. I'm pretty sure everybody can like what they like, but I cannot imagine people can look at this objectively, whether you're a Star Wars fan or not, can look at this and say with a straight face that this has been a good show. I could not even get through the third episode before I just decided to I can't continue. I rarely quit a show or a movie despite a bad, dialogue or cinematography or writing in general. I usually, power through it. Even like She-Hulk, there's some stuff that I did not care for, but I managed to get through it. But this, I just couldn't. This is like objectively bad. And the fact that you did like so poor of a job, because like, even look, the prequels handle it better. Even like the Clone Wars series handle it better when in terms of, yes, the Jedi had made some mistakes. Nobody can say like, no, they haven't made any mistakes, because their dogmatic practices that were so rigid, where you pretty much are hoisted by your own petard, and you fail to see Darth Sidious amongst you, that's been corrupting everything from the inside out. But they didn't make the Jedi just idiotic and just like horrible written, kind of sort of like a police force kind of thing. And it's just like, that's just terrible. That's just a terrible way to go, because even in the prequels, they didn't lose the fact that the Jedi inherently are good people. Sure, there are a few that manage to go get drawn to the dark side, but there's layers to it where we can understand the shift there was time in progress and things affecting a particular character, like that Jedi in the particular episode in the Clone Wars series where he was, purposely causing the death of these Clone Wars, because the episode where Anakin got replaced by this guy, got called away, and this guy was replacing him, and he, through the next couple of episodes, purposely giving wrong or ineffective orders that caused the deaths of many clone troopers. And turns out, he just got drawn to the dark side because the war just kind of like, certain people in Vietnam, they got, kind of lost it because the war was affecting them on a mental and emotional level. They got twisted. So, yeah, that can happen. But on a broader scale, Jedi in and of itself are still inherently a good community. And, and then you're trying to paint like the Sith, who in and of itself is inherently bad. Of course, by the flip effect, there are certain Sith that made a shift into the light side or maybe the gray side of things. Like you see Asajj Ventress, who started off for a long period of time as a villain, and then over time, towards the end of the series, starts shifting into, not good, but definitely not evil anymore. Because by the time you see her in the second season of The Bad Batch, you can make the argument, at least I can make the argument, she's probably like a gray Jedi now, where she's not evil, but she got this, more nuanced point of view of it all. So there's some growth to the character. Now, I ain't saying that villains can't have multi layers about themselves to make them compelling villains, but you cannot lose the wider scope that no, these guys are legitimately bad people that you should not root for. You can understand them, but you cannot sit there and flat out root for them. You can, and that's what it seems like. They're, like in recent, like Star Wars stuff, they trying to, or at least not even just Star Wars stuff, but Disney, or, well, I think Disney was probably the more egregious with this, but there's been like complete, like the, Joaquin Phoenix Joker is another example where, yeah, you can have this whole diatribe about, people suffering from psychological effects as not being properly, getting the proper treatment for, that can lead to something, dangerous for society as a whole. Sure, there's layers to that. But we should not be sympathizing. I don't think anybody's sympathizing with the Joker, but that is this thing that you're trying to make us feel sorry for him because, he went off the deep end because he had that one bad day, blah, blah, blah. But like, no, he's the freaking Joker. All that whole understanding him, like, he had, people bullied him on a train and he had to defend himself because he, had this whole nervous tick that made him laugh all the time and is making him like an outcast. Like, no, damn all that. He's a murderer. He's a mass murderer. He's a psychotic evildoer. I don't look at Scar, even though like is the whole Hamlet thing he got going on, and sure, there's layers to him in terms of being like a jealous brother to the kingdom of the Pride Lands, but he is still a bad guy. So that way, I don't feel sorry when he gets mauled by hyenas. He's got Cersei Lannister. Sure, there's layers to that and depth to that character. But all in all, at the end of the day, she is not a good person. You don't want to sympathize at all with this woman who's lost her freaking mind. And we gotta like really, like, people in Hollywood really gotta move past this whole uh gray area, feeling sorry for this villain motif, because like we need to bring back the classic villains. They just bad for the sake for being bad sometimes. They want to commit evil acts. Uh, whether whatever for whatever motivation behind their evil acts, they just like and fully embrace it. Like, yeah, some people are just sucky for being sucky. Like you look at somebody like Homelander, sure, he has some, thanks to the boys, he has some depth to the character. But you see, if you ever read the comics, he is just bad under the guise of this whole, being like the face and hero and all this other stuff. But underneath all that, he is like a lunatic, psychotic guy with super strength and flight that will kill you at the moment's notice. It's just like we gotta, we really need to bring back. I mean, it's like there's been like, villains like that, every once in a while. But this whole thing, because I'm not sure if I can like, mean it's not right. I might be pulling this out of my butt a bit, but ever since like this whole, really pushing therapy and stuff out there in the recent years, where it's like everybody got these typical, just motivations behind their, the weighted things that they do, and they come from like a rough upbringing or they're traumatized in some kind of fashion, which, yeah, you probably should seek help for that kind of thing. But ever since then, I will argue kind of affects, like, the writers in Hollywood, and it's like, kind of projecting a bit, where it's like, oh, it's like, Cruella only killed those animals because like, oh, she had like a rough, she wasn't wanted by her mom, so that's why she wanted to kill Puppy. It's like, no, because she's just a sick individual. It's like, oh, Scar, he wasn't a bad person. He was just not loved by his parents, and they favored Mufasa over him. It's like, no, he was a jealous asshole that tried to kill his nephew. Some people are just sucky sometimes. It's not really layered motivations underneath the surface. Sometimes people suck. And they embrace that, jerkiness about themselves. I don't look at Biff from Back to the Future and it's like, oh, he wasn't raised properly. No, he just was an a-hole. And they just exist. There's no, like, extenuating motivations for us to feel bad for them and why they, doing all this stuff. I mean, sometimes you can add that. They can add some, but sometimes you just need to have them embrace the fact that they're just a-holes. And I'm just kind of done with this whole, like, being sympathetic towards the villain. The Joker's, like, I don't want to feel bad for the Joker. I don't want to feel bad for Biff. I don't want to feel bad for Cersei Lannister. They just suck. And we need to get back to the classic villains and have it be okay to the fact that they just suck sometimes. Yeah, they know what they're doing. And especially like somebody like Cersei Lannister, she had full awareness of what she was doing and just give zero F's about it. And that should be okay for a villain to just like, yeah, I fully understand that, like I'm, willing to let certain citizens die by dragon fire, but okay, oh well, as long as I have what I want, kind of thing. And sometimes there are people like that. There's no like, feeling sorry for that. And I think we need to, I argue need to start embracing that again, because I think we're losing our way with these villains. Like, you can have something like Killmonger, who, yeah, we understand his motivations, but by and large, he embraced the full fact that, yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, I, would cause the suffering of a lot of people in my, motivations to have my community rise up and fight back. Probably at the detriment to a few people, like, you can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs mentality. You're gonna have him still fully embrace that. You can understand his motivation, but fully embrace the fact that I'm okay with a few of my people dying as long as they still serve my overall goals for my people. Same way as like Magneto will probably do that. Magneto, don't make too big of a deal by the fact that like I'm making a brotherhood of evil mutants. He has it in the name of brotherhood of evil mutants because I want my people to fight back, and a few people a few of my mutant brethren have to go down to serve a greater purpose. So be it. He fully acknowledged that. He says this many of occasions, whether in comic books or TV shows or movies, he have said this, and he fully embraced the fact that some of my people might die in the hopes of a greater purpose. Same way with someone like Thanos. He is fully cognizant and fully aware that in order to serve a greater purpose for half this universe, the other half has to die. I am fully aware and understood that I have to sacrifice my own daughter in order to get the Soul Stone, in order to achieve that particular purpose. He fully embraced that part of him, that he will be acknowledging that it is a bad thing. But he fully embraces that. That will make him a compelling villain. And just be cool with it. Like I said, you can have layers to it to make him so you connect and understand his motivations. Understand the motivations. That's the whole thing. You can understand the motivations. But don't lose sight or make us try to feel like an emotional ties or like, oh, I feel sorry for Homelander. It's like, no, don't feel sorry for him. I don't want to understand. I won't say I don't want to understand. It's like I don't want to sympathize. And it's like, oh, it's okay. He let a whole plane full of people die. I don't care. I fully understand that Thanos had to throw his dart off a cliff. He's trying to do something for a greater purpose. It's like he had a rough upbringing and stuff like that. No, stop it. Sometimes bad people just that bad people exist for the sake of the word. Okay, there's psychotic people out there in the world that probably had a good fine upbringing and they just turn out evil. It happens. There's no extenuating circumstances sometimes. And I think in terms of movies and TV shows, we need to bring that back and make it a thing again. It's like it's like none of this whole therapy sessions with these villains. It's I'm beating dead horse here, but you catch my drift. But we need to bring that back, in all honesty. And I'm curious to know what you guys think, because it's, in my personal opinion, again, kind of eye rolly sometimes. Not saying it won't still be good characters, but all I'm bringing up is that we need to bring back the classic villains that is okay with the fact that they're doing bad things, and have it be that sometimes. But that's all I wanted to talk about. I wanted to just probably had to have a little 5-minute talky excerpt on my TikTok, but I was like, no, I got a lot to say that's not gonna it's not gonna be enough for TikTok. I want to have a full-on video for the channel and get this off my chest, because it's something that's been on my mind for a little while now. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. How are you feeling with certain villains in movies and TV shows as of recently? Do you want the classic villain to come back, or it is okay with the fact they're being bad and doesn't need to be any deeper than that? Or you're perfectly fine with how we're getting villains nowadays? I'll leave it to you guys. I will see you guys a little bit later for some more content, but have a good day if not, and I'll see you all soon. Peace.